All right, hi. So I've been asked quite a few times by people now to put some information together about best practice for marketing a product. And I mean, wow, that's a huge course in itself, really, and it does represent some of the strands of Seven Step Startup. So I wanted to share some advice that I was given by the ex-managing director of Amazon UK, Robin Terrell. This guy is now on the executive board of Tesco in the UK. So it's, I believe, number two supermarket, worldwide sales in dollars. I think it's 100 and a bit billion. Yeah, absolutely huge business. So Robin and I were in contact recently, and I asked him to give me some information about really what he took from Amazon, and in terms of his marketing and what really stood out more than anything. And it correlated exactly with Brad Stone's The Everything Store, the book about Jeff Bezos and the foundation of of Amazon itself, which is do everything you possibly can to understand your customer's needs, okay, and understand your customer. And Robin said, look, Richard, if you do everything you can to understand your customer, you're going to be in a position where you serve them first. And the thing that stood out from the book, The Everything Store, is that it was customers first. Okay, now you look at any company and they'll pay lip service to this. They'll always say, oh, we put the customer first. The customer's always right, because that's a really good, it's a good company line to take, and it makes people feel good about buying there. But Amazon, if you read this book, you will see that it took it to the nth degree. It went to this level where its own employees were disgruntled because of the level to which Jeff Bezos was making sure customers were happy. Okay, so it was actually, it could be rephrased to customers first. Okay, customers' interests and customers' value for customers and retaining or retention of customers above happiness of our own employees. Okay, employees' views on things came second, and there were a lot of people annoyed about changes that were made. And if you read the book, you'll see it obviously would have taken a lot of strength of character, which of course he has huge amounts of, for Jeff Bezos to have stuck by this principle. So in that, I think it just goes to show that you really can do well by putting the customer first, and you can push it really far. So I asked Robin, once he gave me that information, I asked him, so there's a perception, I said, that Amazon has because of the Everything Store, really, because of Brad Stone's book, there's a perception that Amazon's almost aggressive in being with itself, in being customer orientated. Is it the case that they stand head and shoulders above other companies in this respect, or actually is it indicative of other companies and too? And he said, Richard, indeed, it actually is the case that Amazon really took it that far. And you know what? They're one of the most recognized businesses in the world, and they're the kind of company that's going to ultimately, like with the likes of Walmart, potentially become one of those first $1 trillion businesses. And with that in mind, I think you need to start thinking to yourself, like, it's all very well running a business and being commercially successful and making profits and money for yourself, but if you truly put the customer first, truly, in all aspects of their interaction with you, you're going to be in a position where you are delivering something a bit more unique than your competitors, because the natural state is to typically be egocentric. And what's meant by that, the natural state is to be in a position where you do make sure you serve yourself, your business, your product first, through customer interaction. And of course, people like to be as nice as possible to customers and serve them the best they can. But are you going the extra mile? Are you running through walls for customers? Are you giving them extra value? And a great example was when Amazon rolled out things like 2 to 3 day delivery, or even next day delivery, and what they would do is always try and exceed that. So if, for instance, I bought a product and it was projected to be with me by 3 days, for it to always come in 1 or 2 days, it always made me feel good, and that of course is something that they made sure happened. And just taking that kind of idea, what kind of things could you do to give extra to your customers? Okay, and there's a lot of little things people could do but don't bother to. So maybe a little gift. I mean, a small thing. I mean, if you run your own business and you've only got it's a local business with only a not a handful of clients, but not thousands, but tens or maybe 100 or so clients in your local area, then taking, I don't know, as an example, take note of their birthday, and you could send them out a card. And there's actually a local group near where I live, and they send a birthday card every year to my daughter, and they they don't have to do that, but it just makes you think about them a bit more, and it's just something. It's only nothing particularly major about that, but there's a lot more you could do rather than delivering just the product you say you're going to deliver. And my mentor, Matt Pocious, who is a millionaire, and in fact was, by the time he was only 18 online, he's now in his 20s, he always said, make sure you give way more content in terms of what I'm giving, and way more value than the person is actually paying for. And I mean, if you look at 7-Step Startup, the people that we've been in touch with, and the actual principles and lessons in there, if you implemented every single one of them, genuinely, if you implemented every single lesson of 7-Step Startup, I mean, the value of the course runs into hundreds of thousands of dollars, which is why, of course, we're putting the price up again soon. But for you, so to be paying the kind of the small amount you're paying now is absolutely amazing. And if I knew this kind of stuff 10 years ago, I mean, I would have paid an absolute fortune. I would have paid tens of thousands of pounds, because that's maybe all I had at the time, in order to get access to this kind of information. So it's hugely beneficial. So customer first. It's what the people at the top say. Jeff Bezos, at the latest count, is just under $35 billion net worth, and he's got the right kind of attitude through and through. It's always customer first, to the point that they would never go home. Some nights when it came up to Christmas, they'd be putting 24-hour shifts just to make sure their customers weren't disappointed. Okay, absolutely fantastic way of working. If it worked for him, it's maybe something you should think about too. Anyway, I hope that's of help. That's some word from Robin Terrell, who's the ex-managing director of Amazon, specifically relating to marketing, but also in terms of the customer as well. Okay, could you do more for your customers? I'll see you soon. Thanks a lot.